Hello, welcome back. Thanks for being here. I have been in the basement, but not too much today. I've been feeling tired, distracted, out of sorts. Yes, I knew I really needed to take a break when I found this candle. It's a lovely thing, and like it's not just a candle. It's like a coach light thing. It's got, I should have maybe brought it here, but anyway, it's like a lantern kind of a thing. But a modern thing, made out of wood, and of course made to look old and all. I thought, oh yeah, look at that. And it was in the basement. I thought, yeah, I should take that upstairs and light it. So I brought it upstairs, got on a match, and kind of started to try and figure it out. Didn't seem to want to light. And my hand was getting kind of hot. So I blew out the match, put it under the water, and got rid of it. And then I said, well, maybe I better have a closer look at this thing. Yeah, good idea. I had done no harm, but it's a battery-operated candle. So when that happened, I thought, oh yeah, it's time to take a little break. So I had brought some things up, for example, this old phone. Hello. Nobody seems to be there. I believe, I've got to look at this here, that this was a phone that was actually used in my great-grandparents' house. I never met them, of course, but I believe, based on the number, because they used to go by things, instead of saying the first two numbers, they said these letters, and then somehow those got into words and things. So, from what I understood, way back when, around Toronto, like the number we were at would have been Russell 2 7320. And of course RU is 78. And I don't know how this came about. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. But anyway, this one is Russell 3, or RU3-0090. So I think that was maybe my great-grandparents' number. I don't know exactly. I could be wrong. But I remember seeing this phone around for a long time, and of course the dust is part of the ambiance and the patina. It is. Anyway, part of the reason that I'm here, oh, by the way, I found, look, not one, but two folders that say TPUG. Yes, from the Toronto Pet Users Group. I seem to remember that maybe these were used, I think, maybe as kind of a thing that they would give out to potential advertisers for the magazine, maybe. I also seem to remember one time when some of the people who were in management, who always seemed to have a crisis in mind, decided we should have some meeting at some hotel to discuss things rather than just sitting in the office and discussing things. And maybe these appeared there, I don't know. Anyway, there was nothing in them. But I will hold on to them. TPUG. Who knows, maybe there'll be more. TPUG. The other thing I found in the basement, as I was digging, was a Super Corporation A2000 2, 4, 6, or 8 megabyte RAM expansion card, and it is indeed fully populated. This would go into an Amiga 2000 for sure. Yes, certainly that's what it would go into. It says it would. I don't know if it would function in any other Amiga or Amiga expansion device or anything. Really, it's meant, I mean, the Amiga 2000 was a fabulous, I would say, workhorse. It had slots for, well, most anything you could imagine, such as this, and And then it had the bridge slots where you could put in IBM things with a bridge card. It had the video slot, and it was like, if you want this machine and you want to blow it out with expansion and video things and toaster. Oh, I also found a toaster bag from the Toaster 4000. Anyway, with the Amiga 2000, I mean, the sky's the limit on what you can put in, I guess what you could spend back then. Anyway, I don't have a 2000 quite handy, but I will put this very carefully over here and give it a try sometime. Time for some water. Anyway, so yes, I rarely do this that I'm about to do, but I will do it. Because, and you know, there's a blank disc. You know what else I found? Remember, I found some ribbons that said TPUG supporter, and they were all gnarled and twisted and gross. Well, I found a whole package. They're not gnarled. They're not twisted. They don't need ironing. They're perfect. I guess maybe too many were ordered. I think the idea was that these would go with a button and could be worn with a button thing. Probably a button that said, wait for it, TPUG. And maybe one that had a spot to write a name on. Anyway, I will put this away carefully. I shall. I think I will try. Because, I mean, it's easy to get them all squirrely. It doesn't want to go back in the bag. It doesn't want to go back in the bag. Come on. There. TPUG supporter. So, as you see, my ambition to get this cleared off so I could quickly test things is not going well. And that is why I'm doing something that I rarely do. Yes, I'm going to have a drink. This glass says silver bullet on it. This is not not a silver bullet. This is a B-52, and I do not drink much, I do not drink often, but after trying to light a battery-operated candle, I thought, okay, I need a little something. So, into the fridge I went. A B-52 is Bailey's, Irish Cream, Grand Marnier, and Kahlua, all put into a shot glass. This, I'm not sure if you can see, it is layered, kind of. I didn't do it the way people do it when they really want it to be layered. I just poured really slow, but when you really want it to be layered, apparently you take a spoon and use the back of the spoon and very, very gently pour. I didn't do that. I did not. So, I will devour this. Now, the way to devour, by the way, you must savor the aroma. Ah, the aroma. I have a story about these B-52s. This was funny. Maybe I've told this before. Oh well, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. But there was a bar in Coboconk, Ontario, and when we were in the midst of doing things at the cottage and cleaning and tidying and sorting and working and such, once in a while I'd say, oh, I don't want to cook. And we would go to the patty house. And it was, on the weekends, a pretty happening place. Also, I was suffering from miserable, god-awful, terrible allergies. So I was taking medicine, but still, oh, it was horrid. So I remember one day I went into the patty house. It was just in the afternoon, not really anybody around. And not anybody around, and I brought a box of Kleenex with me. There we go. Go away. There we go. But that's thing still keeps making noise. Ugh. I think that's a Discord noise. Oh, there it goes. Anyway, so I brought my own box of Kleenex, and I was in the midst of using it. And I did remember that my grandfather, who did not drink, except for, wait for it, medicinal purposes. So I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to get a B-52. So I did, and I did it much the way I will do this, in that I will savor it. And when it comes time, I will tip it all back, but not just let it go down. I'll hold it in my mouth and let it sort of coat things. And when the time has come, I will release it, and it will go down, and I will feel a warmth. And then the warmth will encase me. Anyway, within 15 minutes of me drinking that B-52, I wasn't sniffling, and I didn't need to use any more Kleenex, and I wasn't coughing, and my eyes had sorted themselves out. So I thought that was pretty good. Now, I did continue to take my allergy medication every morning. But I always looked, we talk about vaccinations. A lot of vaccination talk in the world these days. That one, I always considered that B-52 as my inoculation. And every time I went back in, I got a booster shot. And it became so well known that that's what I wanted. And I'm sure I told the story once or twice. I went in one night. It was a Saturday. It was packed. Couldn't even get near. There was more than one bar. We couldn't even get near them. I just sat quietly in the corner at a table. And literally within a minute, a B-52 appeared. And, as I came in the door, I just, waved. And I figured, well, it'll be a while, but that's all right. No rush here. Anyway, this one guy came and he sat down and he said, "You must own this place. I've been trying to get a beer for like half an hour. You walk in and boom, you got a drink." Anyway, I told them the story, that they just knew. That's what I wanted. So, I don't have to say anything. They just know. Anyway, first, a little more water. I'm feeling a little dry. Yes. I will make more trips to the basement today, but I'm not getting an incredible amount done. Once in a while, you just got to say, it's not happening. That is why I will savor the aroma. Mostly what I smell at this moment is the Grand Marnier, because it tends to be at the top. And I believe the Kahlua, the dark stuff at the bottom, and the Bailey's is lighter. It's in the middle, kind of. I can see the layers. I don't know if you can see the layers, and I'm afraid that if I diddle around with this too much, I'll end up spilling it, and then I'll cry. That would not be good. So, what else? Oh yes, I also found a school bell. I don't think this is remarkably old. And I used to keep it, because I work in education, I used to keep it at the school, because once in a while, we would have something of a power failure or some sort of failure, and the electronic bell system wouldn't work. And so, we would go back to the basics. Alright, a little more savoring. If my nose was stuffed, I think that would clear it up. But the nice thing about a B-52 is it's very smooth. I don't like harsh, burny, nasty, like I remember seeing on episodes of MASH where, radar took a little something and then went, or other things where people were drinking something that was obviously burning their innards. This is smooth, and the warmth will linger. Now, of course, because I'm about to take a measured amount of alcohol, I will not be driving or operating any heavy machinery for the next several hours. I shall not. And maybe this might help me get back on track a little bit, as in just getting caught up on things. As I've said before, there's a monitor I need to ship, and I'm almost there, but it's just, I'm just so afraid it's, something bad is going to happen. So I've got a number of different boxes, and the one I like the best, which is a double-walled one, it's just not tall enough. It's just not. So, anyway, I have another one that's taller, and it's only single wall, but it's strong. It'll be fine. But it gives me a lot more space to wrap the monitor, but then put it on a cushioning layer. And this may sound strange, but the cushioning layer so far consists of a very strong piece of cardboard. But beneath the cardboard, excuse me, is a layer of water bottles like this that are empty for cushioning. And there's some bubble wrap in there, and some newspaper in there. So once I get the monitor all ready, in terms wrapped in bubble wrapped, just the right size, I will put it in. And it's funny, my brother said I should put the bottom end down, but that will make the box, I think, a little top heavy weird, and it might be more likely to fall. And I know I've got to protect the picture too, but that's what I'm doing. So I think I'm going to get it wrapped around and around and around and around and around in the bubble wrap, and make sure it's just so, and then but also covered on the front with more layers of more protection, and then put it in, and then put a whole bunch more stuff over the top, and tape it up and seal it up and get it weighed and get it on its way. It's got a long way to go, and I want it to get there just dandy. And it's taken me longer than I wanted it to, but I want to make sure that it gets there and it's working and it's happy. Because otherwise, really, what's the point? It is almost time for the warmth. And I think what I'm going to do, I've been filming a lot of videos and putting them up, so every day they come out. I think this will be a special edition. And I'll just put it out, maybe even today. Alright, so, have I talked about everything? The phone? Oh, there's a book here. It's been here for a couple of days. And it's called No Place to Hide by David Bradley. Now, did I write this book? No, I did not. But basically, the story, it's not a story, it tells about the atomic tests that were done on the Bikini Islands and other things, and basically the whole thing about radiation and atomic bombs and other things is that if they're used and if there's a war, there is no place to hide. Worse than any virus. No masks will protect us. Anyway, so that book came out long ago, and long ago my dad found a copy and got it. He thought it was interesting because, of course, it had my name on it. And once in a while, I would take a copy of it, and I have a couple around, into the school that I work at, and I would just sit and make like I was reading and see how long it took somebody to realize what I was reading, and that maybe, well, some of them, of course, thought that I'd written it, which I hadn't. But it was an interesting way to converse with people that you don't know. That, I mean, you gotta have a gimmick of some sort. And once people realize that you're human and you're there to help, maybe they'll come if they need help. And once in a while this book was handy. I also, when I had a desk there, in the happy days, I would often just leave it you know, there, kind of like, instead of a family picture or other such things, just there. And some students said, because I seemed to be able to find out anything, that it should have been no place to hide from David Bradley. Anyway, I digress. It's funny, every time I inhale, I do get the urge to cough. So maybe that means that it is time. So here we go. Bear with me. It is time. Nose is clear, throat is ready. I certainly don't want to sneeze in the midst of this, because there will be a pause, because I will not just let it. It doesn't just go down. It is savored, and it coats. And maybe this would be a good thing to protect against the coronavirus. I don't know. I'm still going to wear my mask, I'm still going to wash my hands, and I'm still going to stay home. Cheers. My mouth, it tingles. It does. I was thinking I would drink some water afterwards, but I don't think so. I'll just... No matter how much you tip it back, girls, there's always just a little more. Anyway, I do not necessarily say that alcohol consumption is a good thing, but on occasion, as I learned long ago from a minister friend of mine named Bob Nightingale, who is since retired, and I've kind of lost touch with him, but I should write to him. Moderation. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Anyway, I do not believe I've had an alcoholic substance for a couple months, maybe more. So I don't feel bad about this. Anyway, I feel the warmth. So, and maybe things are loosening up. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. Anyway, yes, I will try and keep my voice up. Sometimes I tend to... I'm soft-spoken, so I have to work at projecting. I do. All right, well... Hello? Hello? As I do this, I think back to my great-great-grandmother, who I never met. And to think that her phone is sitting right here, and she likely talked to neighbors and friends and relatives, and who knows who else on this very phone. And you know, I still... Don't knock that down. I like the sound. There's something magic about that sound. Last story. I was at a TPUG meeting once. Steve Hunter was there trying to demonstrate something. And in fact, when you do this, it does send, with each number, it sends a pulse down the line. So something was up. I don't know why or how or whatever, but he couldn't dial out. Maybe the phone line back then didn't support tone. It only supported this, and he only had a tone. But anyway, I believe he was able to get through. Oh, that doesn't come up. Hello. That seems to be stuck. Well, anyway, this is where the buttons are that they should come up. So I believe he was able to get through by tapping at the rate that would go. So if it was 416, he'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think eventually, with some fiddling around, he was able to actually make a successful call that way. I believe. Well, the warmth is spreading. Time for a little water. And I will get back to work. So, thanks for coming. Stay tuned. Bye for now.